Just a quick little shout out, I guess I would say. Lonnie Alameda, the head coach from Florida State softball, about 2 weeks ago announced on social media that she was diagnosed with breast cancer. So this is some news that has shaken up the softball world, but many teams have started their cancer games for this season. So it's great to see that Minnesota and Oregon are in support.
Well, yeah, certainly something that we've seen around college sports in general, lots of whether it's Dig Pink or different cancer awareness nights. So good to have this first one here for Gopher softball. As that bunt attempt goes foul, and so it's a 1-2 count here to the leadoff batter.
Just a little more keys to the game. This first batter up we have here, she has 46 stolen base attempts, successful on 42 of them. So it's really key to keep her off the base paths for Minnesota.
Well, a close pitch there, but it'll just be ball two. It's actually 2 stolen base records that'll fall. It's first off 128 steals as a team, which broke the 2007 record. Also, Luchar up to the plate now, stole her 42nd base last week, which is one better than the old school record, also in 2007, of 41 by Susie Barnes.
It's absolutely amazing. I wish I was that fast. Watching videos of her, she is just smooth and speedy. So great job by her. Let's see if we can get one today.
Well, Sousa certainly hoping she doesn't get on the base, and that'll do it. Starting off with the strikeout against such a fast runner. Great start to the game for Sousa.
Yeah. Sousa really will come into lefties, which is kind of odd. Lefties tend to see more outside pitches, especially slappers. See that inside pitch there. Great job by Sousa.
Well, up to the plate now, it's Paige Sinicki. Sinicki will think about laying one down and take ball one instead. Corners were ready for it. Sinicki, the senior infielder, went to Coronado High School in Henderson, Nevada. And she'll watch another ball again. Balls and strikes, something that we've been watching all year for the Gophers. That's been difficult for the pitching staff, not having a consistent dominant ace like Autumn in your time here and in the years before. But Sousa getting the nod tonight, or this afternoon, and we'll see who Coach Ritter goes with in the rest of the series.
Yeah, and I would not be surprised if we see a little bit more pitching by committee by the Minnesota pitching staff, as they've been doing that most of the season.
Taken strike one, so a 3-1 count. And Sinicki hitting .387 on the year. Again, part of a very powerful Oregon offense. They've scored a school record 136 runs in their last 14 games.
Not only have they scored an absolutely insane amount of runs, a majority of their runs do come in the first inning. So they've scored 75 runs in the first inning. So Natalie and the Gopher defense are looking to keep them off the base paths to limit that.
Well, there's a drive to left that'll be right there, caught in left field for out number 2. Really hot start for the Gophers.
Batting third, the first baseman with 24, Riley McCoy.
There's that changeup I was talking about to keep hitters off balance. As we see, she didn't get the full pace of that one.
And so 2 outs, now 1 strike here to the 3-hole. That is Kaylee Avasado, or pardon me, Riley McCoy.
Sounds like the crowd didn't like that one. That was a pretty changeup.
Well, beautiful day outside, so a good Gopher crowd here. See a couple of Oregon shirts making the trip for, again, the first time that the Ducks have played here in Minneapolis. And there's a strike, pretty much same spot, so a 1-2 count, chance to retire the side in order. The 1-2 from Souza. And fouled off towards her own dugout. Nice play over there to the side of third base and get another chance with 2 strikes. And another foul back. And so early on, Souza, thoughts on how she seems in control of her stuff?
Yeah, I mean, all season long, it seemed to have been a little bit of a problem with getting behind in the count, but she seems to be in control of that today, so hoping to keep that going for the rest of the game.
Well, another 1-2, just off that outside edge. Again, the crowd not too happy with the call, but that's what you're going to get with, I'm not even going to guess how many miles it is from here to Oregon, but pretty partisan crowd. Now the 2-2 off that edge and low. So now a full count. Good plate discipline here from McCoy. McCoy with a .447 average leads the team, or leads everybody who had at least 5 at-bats. She'll foul another one back. Also has 13 home runs and 34 runs batted in on the year.
Anh nướng cá thêm nhá, em còn cá em chưa nướng.
And so Souza just trying to get out of the first early. You can have a 1-2-3 inning that can still feel pretty slow, and when you've got this many balls, well, there's called strike 3, and so Souza gets. She'll step into ball 1, and so the Gophers just trying to get something going. The first inning has been a bit hit or miss for the Gophers, really on both sides all year, and so getting some momentum after keeping the Ducks scoreless would be a huge boost right here. Saw Tobias' stats right there as she'll swing on and miss for a 1-1 count.
Just a little bit about our pitcher here, Grind. She comes in today with a 1.03 ERA with 142 strikeouts. She has a rise that she throws around 67 to 69 miles per hour. A drop ball that she uses a little bit like an off speed, so around 62 to 64, with a changeup that's around 56 miles per hour. So she really throws at all 3 speeds and will keep our hitters off balance here.
Well, with 2 strikes, Tobias will foul that one back. And so again, Tobias, the senior out of Iowa. She had 9 multi-hit games last year. And she'll watch that one go by for ball 2. Tobias has just 1 hit in her last 4 games. That came last game against Purdue. But with 3 balls now, a chance to get on board. Full count to Tobias. Swung on and fouled off that fence. It'll pop right back into the infield and we'll have another full count draw.
Looks like the umpire is calling her out. I wonder if Tobias stepped out of the box there. I'm not too sure. Did not see it.
Well, a tough break for the Gophers. And so Tobias will go down and Taylor Kraft will take her spot. Swung through that first pitch, and so an 0-1 count. Gophers at least doing a good job seeing pitches in that first at bat, even if it's not going the way you want it to go.
And that's kind of the whole point of that first batter. Even if it is not a super successful outcome, you do want them to see as many pitches as possible.
Well, they wanted to check whether she went or not, but it's a 1-1 count to Kraft. Certainly, even more so with it being the first meeting between these teams since 2023. She will get first base. And so, anyway on, and Gophers now have the first base runner of the game.
If you're going to get hit by a pitch, that's the way you want to do it. Just barely on the toe there.
Well, now one runner on for Valencia. Again, this is a back-to-back combo that you don't really want to see if you're an opposing pitcher. We were talking before the game at Purdue's game, their broadcast said you don't want to see Kraft up to the plate, and she homered right after that. And so see if that same thing happens with Valencia here. The senior out of Georgetown, Kentucky. So you will watch ball one. So a 1-1 count to Valencia. Kraft on first. Gopher defense got out of the first inning 1-2-3, or out of the top half of the inning. And a really good take off the edge there. So a 2-1 count. Again, a very strong pitcher in Lindsey Grind, pardon me. And now 3 balls once again, and so Gophers a chance to get some ducks on the pond, as we'll see a mound visit early on.
Yeah, just giving her a little break. This definitely not like Grind. She's very dominant. As you said earlier, she just usually pounds the strike zone. So throwing some balls, a couple in a row here is a little out of character for her, but it is the first inning, so sure she will be just okay.
Well, you talk about how well she's done leading this program pitching-wise. As a team, Oregon is second nationally with a 1.81 ERA, second nationally and first in the conference. And so the 3-1 count is swung on and missed for strike 2. And so it looked like that mound visit helped.
What a combo to have the best ERA in the Big Ten and also the amount of stolen bases you have. You just have a mix of everything you could want.
Well, fouled back, and so another full count draw. So batters, at least for the Gophers, doing a good job of seeing a lot of pitches. Just 1 out and up to 16 already. And, you know, this being the 3rd batter. The full count is taken for ball 4, so runners on first and second. Kraft on second, Valencia on first, as Kayla Chavez steps up to the plate.
The third baseman, number 77, Kayla Chavez.
You saw it earlier with Natalie Sousa and even her pitches that seemed to maybe be a little on the plate, questionable for a strike. So I don't think anything even questionable will be called today. It is the first inning, so I like to always give the umpire at least 3 innings. They have to adjust to your pitches as well. And then I think that's when we'll fully see what his strike zone actually is.
Well, this does give us a moment to talk about the history between these two teams. They last met in 2023 when Autumn, you had a pretty good outing against them. Before that, not since 2003. And so certainly two teams that are not well experienced with each other, or two programs. Kayla Chavez in the box, runners on first and second. And she'll get ahead in the count. Swung on and missed by Chavez. And so when she's hitting her pitches, still tough to get a good bat on Grind, but location just not quite there so far.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot imagine swinging at a ball coming at me at 69 miles per hour, especially like we just saw in that last one, that rise ball. Even when you know it's a ball coming out of her hand, I'm sure it's pretty tempting.
Well, ahead in the count, 2 strikes, and she'll miss that one. Heading to third is Kraft. She will get thrown out, and so a good heads-up play back behind the plate. And Valencia will move to second, but now Sousa had a good first inning, and now it's 4-5-6 for the Ducks. Kedra Lushar, of course, her sister also on the team, will think about laying down one and think twice about it. So a 2-0 count.
See that pitch? Like I said earlier, she's coming into them lefties. That is a little scary. I would definitely pull away as well. Hard to bunt that and make it be fair.
Well, there she'll take strike one. And so a 2-1 count to the 4 spot. The senior out of Carson City, Nevada. And she'll watch another one off that inside edge. And so 3-1, Souza targeting lefties inside, hitting it more often than not, but still struggling a little bit with control right now.
Yeah, and also just the way Kraft caught that kind of looks like she maybe missed her spot inside.
Well, hit that one, and so a full count. And there were plenty of these in the top of the first, but she got out of it 1-2-3, so we'll see if she can do it again. Bouchard fouling that one back. She's hitting .457 on the year. Just incredible what this Oregon offense is looking like right now. All 9 starters coming to the week hitting better than 300.
It's absolutely incredible to see numbers like that this deep into the season as well. And Oregon is ranked number 4, so it's not very surprising. But
Well, just barely got a piece of that one. And so another full count. And on top of that, you know, Oregon has 7 20-run games in program history. 4 of them have come this year.
I wonder how much facing these new opponents now that they are in the Big Ten, first year in the Big Ten, how that's really affecting their gameplay.
Well, a drive up the middle. That'll be a base hit played cleanly in center. And so it's a single, leadoff single, and the first hit of the ball game.
Natalie just leaving that one middle, as you can see, just takes that right up the middle. With these Oregon hitters and the batting averages they have, you cannot really miss over the middle of the plate because that's exactly what they're going to do with it.
Well, next up it's Katie Flannery. She'll drive one over to second. The play to second, not in time for the double play, but they'll get the lead runner. And so a good heads-up play by Tinley Easton going over to Tobias.
That was a great play too, a little bit of jamming the hitter, so you don't necessarily think the ball's gonna go that way, but just taking the hop, getting the runner out at second.
So now it's 1 out, runner on first. And already looking over to see if the steal is going. Easton running over to second after that play for Stephanie Maake at the plate. Maake, one of the 2 freshmen that I mentioned earlier, is 1 away from tying the program record for freshman single-season home runs. As she will foul off ball 2, or strike 2, almost a catch there made in the stands. A one-handed catch, but he couldn't quite reel that one in.
That's why you gotta bring your glove.
That one off the edge, and so it's a 1-2 count. Certainly an impressive crowd for 5 p.m. on a Friday. Expecting that we'll get good numbers the rest of the series, beautiful weather. And just the second home series, or at least series at James Sage, as opposed to those classics at the bank that were played earlier in the year.
I'm also surprised with the amount of construction that's going on campus here. It's construction season in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's pretty awful getting around here, but you know, you always have a month of that and then it gets better. And so 2-2 count as another one fouled off. 342 hitter on the year is Maake. The freshman out of San Diego, California. And she'll swing and miss on strike 3, make it 2 outs with the runner on first.
Sousa's gonna just keep coming back to that changeup, which we saw there. Absolutely amazing. Keep those hitters off balance. What a pitch.
So 2 outs just the one hit given up, no walks so far for Souza. As Rosa comes up to the plate, she had that great play behind the plate where she got Kraft over at third. And now a chance to contribute on the other side. She'll take strike one. And so the catcher out of Hawaii, sophomore. Last year she had just 3 at-bats across 8 games, including a bases-loaded walk for an RBI in her first plate appearance as a Duck. So swing and miss, and so 1 strike. Souza seeming a little bit more in control in these last few batters.
Yeah, she's using her pitches, like I said. I mean, we saw on the last batter, she was really 0-2 and then throwing some pitcher pitches to try to get the hitters to chase, and that rise ball there obviously made her chase.
And so a quick timeout here as Souza heads back to the circle again. We're expecting a lot of substitutions on the Oregon front this game. And so back into the plate with the 1-1 count is Rosa. And again, Gophers seem very ready to throw down to second. The whole infield ready to shift over after every pitch for the steal threat.
Well, Flannery only has 2 stolen base attempts. She was successful on both of them, so she might not be the main issue that the Gophers have to worry about.
Well, certainly between the pitching, the bats, and stolen bases, a overall very difficult Oregon team to go up against. There's a reason they're ranked so highly. And so a 3-1 count, not the kind of count you want to be in really against any batter in this Oregon lineup. And she'll foul that one off back. And we'll almost clear the concourse here, but not quite. And so we'll get a full count draw. Full count, swung on, popped foul, and that'll find the bleachers. And so yet another full count pitch. Seems like we've had quite a lot of those today's game so far.
Yeah, I feel like the hitters have had pretty good discipline. We have seen a few chase pitches from both teams, but with a tight strike zone, I feel like we might see that a little bit here.
Well, again, grounded foul, and so we've got yet another one. And for just 1 base runner, it feels like the Gopher defense has been out there quite a while. And so yet another full count pitch to the catcher, Rosa.
To new heights.
Well, leading off the bottom of the second is Jessa Snippas after Kayla Chavez struck out with the runner on second, and so it'll be an 0-1 count. And swung on and missed. So 2 quick strikes after a long bottom of the first for the Gophers.
We've seen a little bit of the Gopher hitters. They kind of expand their strike zone and let their at-bats get out of control.
Well, there you go, 3 quick pitches, and so certainly what you want more than what you saw last inning there in the circle.
Yeah, she's definitely commanding here. Such a great pitch.
Certainly something where once in a while you just got to look back in admiration, and just such a perfect spot.
It really was for an 0-2. Great job.
And so Breezy Burnett struggled at the plate this season, but still looking to break out. She'll drive one up the middle and get the Gophers' first hit of the game.
There we go, great job.
And so a runner on first, and one with speed at that for the Gophers. For Maggie Werner coming to the plate.
Number 4, Maggie Werner.
First pitch to Werner is swung on way out front and missed, and so 0-1 count, 1 out with Burnett over there on first. Werner 227, pardon me, on the season. A drive to left center. That'll be reeled in, but Burnett will tag up and she'll reach second base safely. So a runner in scoring position in 2 consecutive innings for the Gophers with 2 outs.
Batting eighth for second baseman, number 2, Tinley Easton.
I said it earlier, it's not just the Minnesota pitchers, but leaving a changeup down the middle, dangerous game to play.
Well, certainly not something you're going to want to do against the top 4 in this order, but certainly at times through the season, much of the order has shown they can do damage. Just the consistency has not yet been there. But lots of good developing players, as see another one right here, Tinley Easton, the freshman, up at the plate. Another one from Kentucky. She'll drive it to short, and short to first. A 6-3 ground out will send the Gophers back out into the field. We're scoreless after 2 innings. Oregon 0, Minnesota 0 here on Big Ten Plus. A base hit on each side and lots of full counts. And so that first one, check fouled off. Had some decent pace on it, but it'll just be an 0-1 count. Des Patman for the Ducks, the senior out of San Diego. And so 1-1 count to Patman. Souza still looked good in the circle as there's strike 2.
I hope Souza really stays with that changeup. That thing is so effective. We saw it 2 pitches ago. Close strike there.
Driven out to left, backtracking, and that's well over the fence. And so Patman with a home run to lead off the 3rd, and the Ducks get on the board for the first time today.
Great job by Patman, and see Souza just tries to come in. Again, I mean, if you're gonna leave the ball hanging over the plate, that's what's gonna happen in games like this, especially with the types of hitters that Oregon have. You see their stats when they pop up, they're absolutely incredible.
Well, I mean, the fact that you get that consistency out of an 8-hitter is just, it's one of the best lineups in college softball without a doubt right now. And so now in the 9 spot, Kaylin Jones. And when you look at the class mix of this team too, they've got strong senior leadership, and then they've got really good emerging freshmen that, you know, it's just, they're talented throughout. And so tough team to go against, and they will be as you look to the future. Souza to Jones, and she'll foul another one off. 2 strikes, still no outs here in the top of the 3rd. Oregon with the game's lone run. Prior to that, they had not reached scoring position. Still haven't had an at-bat with the runner on scoring position. And there's ball 1 up to Jones. So what's the self-talk after you have such a hot start to the game, 2 scoreless innings against one of the best teams in college softball, and then you have 1 mistake pitch like that? How do you keep yourself in it?
Yeah, I mean, something we tell ourselves all the time is softball is a game of failure. From a hitter's perspective, hitting 300, you're very successful, right? That's getting on base 3 out of 10 times.
Well, there the play over at 3rd to 1st. Nice glove by Chavez. And there's 1 retired. And so back to the top of the order for the Ducks.
So, like I was saying, that means you're failing 7 out of the 10 times, right? So same with pitching. Like, some hitters are just going to get you, and that's okay. You have to just look to the next batter and not let it affect you too much.
Well, a nice grab over there by Tobias at short. And so after that leadoff home run to the top of the third, 2 quick outs. Grounder to Chavez, then what a play. Just quick reaction time over in the hole.
The shortstop with the 48 save, Siddiqui.
Quick mound visit. Snicky coming up to the plate after this. And so at this point, the message is to just stay hot, or what are you saying in this visit?
Could be anything. Could be talking about batter that's coming up, the plan for that. Maybe, you know, Coach Ritter likes to talk a lot about just trusting your stuff. Like I said earlier, hopefully Sousa stays with that changeup, just trusting that you're going to get it in the strike zone, you're going to get the hitters out with it. Yeah, I mean, just forgetting everything that's happened previously.
Well, you certainly have more insight into what's going on in that meeting than most, you know, former players, just because you did get to play for so long with. So Cosgriff, the 9-hole, starting off the 3rd inning for the Gophers. Gophers stranding 2 in the first after Kraft got on board. She got out at 3rd. Valencia was stranded over at 2nd. And then last inning, Burnett stranded at 1st. And so 2 strikes to Cosgriff. After this, it'll be back to Tobias, Kraft, and Valencia. Off the knob. She was about to run, but it went foul, and so another 0-2 count.
Ryan's done a great job. Her 0-2 pitches, usually coaches want them a little bit farther off the plate, more of a ball, but her pitches have just been very competitive, which is not something you tend to see from a pitcher.
Another 0-2 is swung on, and a high fly ball. Flannery over to make the play at 3rd. And so it'll be 1 quick out, and back to the top of the order for the Gophers. So take 2 for the Gopher offense. First time through, able to get 1 hit. Total of 3 runners on. But as you said earlier, Autumn not able to string together anything. That was certainly an issue in the indoor classics earlier this year. They were getting hits, just couldn't string them together. Swung on and missed there from Tobias. And so a 1-1 count. 35 pitches for Grind. Through 2 1/3. And she'll foul another one off. So a 1-2 count. And again, Grind just, even though she's lost a couple pitches, seeming very in command of the game for the Ducks.
Yeah, I mean, even her pitches that she loses, I still feel like are very competitive, and she's getting some of the Gophers to swing.
Well, somehow held back on that did Cosgriff, and so it'll be a 2-2 count. Two to Cosgriff is taken for strike 3. And so 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 3rd. It is the 3rd strikeout for Grind.
Grind just pounding that outside corner.
And so Taylor Kraft, you know, again, if you're the Gophers, pretty much all the time this is going to be the batter that you want up. And so 2 outs, bottom of the 3rd, maybe time to get something back going. You do have the momentum from, you know, on defense after giving up that solo shot. 3 very needed quick outs. But certainly don't want to hand it back to them with a 1-2-3 inning. Well, there's ball 1, so it's a 1-1 count. It'll be Kraft, and then Valencia again right behind her. Swung up, ball 1. McCoy again, one of those very strong freshman batters for the Ducks. With 13 home runs on the year, she'll drive it down the left field line, and it'll be just foul. Well, just a little, 2 feet to the right, and that's 2 bases.
Kind of looks like she didn't really want to swing at that. I can only imagine she did a full swing where that would have been.
Well, she'll get another chance here. 1-1 count, and she'll hit that one on the ground to short. Tobias makes a throw over to first, and the Gophers' defense has been pretty clean so far today.
Sousa using that changeup yet again. Glad she's sticking with it. I'm gonna keep saying it.
And so Lushar now up for the Ducks. She'll foul that one way out of the stadium over to the train tracks. And so it'll be a 0-1 count. Sousa still just giving up 2 hits, but one of those, of course, the long shot from Patman. Swung and just a bloop single out to left. She will round first safely, and a runner aboard with 1 out for the Ducks.
Third baseman, number 6, Katie Flannery.
Gophers certainly have given up a fair share of those just sort of cheap singles, just well placed this year, that, not necessarily mistake pitches, but just a good bat in the right spot. As that runner will go, the throw well late, and so we knew to watch out for it, and right off the bat, the first steal of the game for the Ducks. Certainly a problem with a pitcher who has as dominant a change as she does.
And a team as fast as they are.
And a team as fast as they are. Fouled back. Flannery 0-1 on the day, .316 this season for the sophomore.
It is essential, too, as Sousa goes through this lineup coming up, on the second time for some of these hitters, but her pitches just have to be that much better than they were in the first time around. I mean, they've already seen your pitches, they know what you have, so any mistake, the Oregon hitters are going to attack.
Well, one of the benefits of certainly being a pitch by committee type of team is that you're not going to have you're not going to have 3 days of the same look against the pitcher, but certainly could imagine her going at least once more in the series, depending on how the rest of the game and how tomorrow's game pan out. For now, it's a 2-1 count there to Flannery. Lushar on second. And that one will fall just off the edge of the plate. And so a 3-1 count. And now's where you really start to worry about the control issues now that you've got that first run given up and a runner in scoring position. There's ball 4, runners on first and second for Maake. Again, not a batter that you want to see up with 2 on. Not that there are any batters in this Oregon lineup, but she has had one heck of a year.
Yeah, and if I were a player on the Minnesota team, I would maybe call a timeout, just give Sousa a little bit of a break. Not that anything too crazy's happened, but just give her a breather.
Well, grounder too short, and the tag is not made, and so good idea to try and get that tag, but Tobias couldn't quite make the play, and just like that, you've got bases loaded.
Yeah, I mean, we see Tobias running up here. She should have, as much as she could, try to run into her, because that will be that obstruction play. obviously she had a play on the ball, so it would have been called.
Well, it looks like we're going to see here our first pinch runner of the game for Oregon over at first base.
Number 5.
It looks like that's Elise Crescio, freshman out of Jasper, Georgia, taking the spot of Ma'ake. And so now up to the plate is Rosa. Patman on deck. Again, not a player you want to see, and you know, about every batter in this order. And so hoping to get definitely another double play ground ball. As you see the infield, at least the corner's ready to go home.
Sousa was able to get Rosa to chase in her last at bat too, so she did have a strikeout with her last plate appearance where she used her rise ball with that first pitch where she did a check swing and then a changeup and then back to that rise ball. So I'm sure she's looking to have a similar pitch sequence here.
Well, we'll see what she goes to with one strike. And make it 1-1. Luchar on third, Flannery at second. And then pinch running for Ma'ake, it's Crescio on first. The 1-1. And just misses her spot there. And so Sousa running into some trouble here in the fourth. Looks like there is some action in the Gopher bullpen. Very difficult to tell from where we're perched up here on top of the concourse, as the appeal is unsuccessful, and so it's a 3-ball count. So we'll keep an eye on who might be warming down there for the Gophers. Ground ball too short. The play to third, that'll be all they can get. So a run comes in for Oregon. Luchar scores. But now it's just first and second with 2 outs when Tobias goes to Chavez.
The right fielder, number 28, Regina Patman.
Well, Des Patman back up. Hit her 9th home run of the year. And a check swing that just might be a bloop single. It falls. The play at home. The throw in is not in time from Cosgriff, and so the run will score. Runner will advance to third, first and third. Oregon brings in their 3rd run of the game, 2nd of the inning. As Sousa still has 2 outs to work with, runners on the corners.
Yeah, it sounded like someone in the Oregon dugout called Sousa's changeup, so looks like that helped them out a little bit. And once again, I'm just gonna say it, and I've said it in games before, I'm just surprised at the lack of timeouts that Minnesota does call to kind of slow down the game and control it.
Well, that one fouled off, couple fans having to duck to get out of the way of it. It's Jones, bottom of the order. Top of the order, top third, has been a collective 0 for 6 for Oregon. As a grounder up the middle will bring in another run, and so the lead quickly up to 4 runs. 5-1 for hits, 5-1 in hits for the Ducks.
Not too bad of a pitch there. I mean, Oregon gets their bat on the balls quite often. So it looks like we got a pitching change here with Chris.
Pulled back. And so a 2-0 count, already falling behind. And it's the top of the order, Luchar up for the Ducks. Kai Luchar, I should say. There's strike 1. And again, Gophers very ready out there in the field for the steal.
A little bit more about Hosek here. She throws a drop curve, change, and a screw, which is her go-to. And she's in the mid to upper 60s. 2 strikes here. 2 outs as well. Coming in with
her work cut out for her, certainly, off of those 3 straight runs for the Ducks. You know, we were talking about this during the pitching change. The Gophers are a team that things can just quickly get out of hand on defense. And that's the kind of thing, stringing hits together, that they haven't had as much success with on offense. Is that's grounded right back to Hosick, and the play, not in time, fumbled either way. The runners will, at least 1 run will score, 2 runs will score off that error. And so all of a sudden this game getting out of hand, it's 6-0 for the Ducks, with Luchar all the way over on second base.
Yeah, and Hosick, I mean, that is a hard play, especially with the speed of these Oregon runners, but the lack of hustle after missing a ball is just something that you can't have. I mean, you can't pretty much have 2 errors in a row to score 2 runs, so it's detrimental to Minnesota's gameplay here.
Well, again, you know, 1 inning ago, I was saying the Gophers' defense has looked pretty clean, and that's something that's happened with the team this year, where it's the pitching and the defense have sort of been in sync, and then one of them falls, and then the other goes along with it. And so certainly hoping to get back on track quickly and get the bats going. As Snicky, number 2 batter, up to the plate. Again, the top of the order has not gotten a hit before that last one. And off of Hosick's glove, not enough time to make the play at first, and so first and third once again.
I mean, that ball just jumps right out of Hosick's glove. I think she might have had time to even look at the runner going to first. That's a little, that falls a little bit on the defense there. They should be talking to her, telling her where to go.
Well, now it's McCoy up. She'll look to lay one down and not get a good pitch for it. She'll advance over there on first. Luchar will, or pardon me, Snicky will. And so it's second and third now, with McCoy up to the plate, 2 outs. And she'll drive one foul to right over by the batting cages. And you know what, 10 minutes going from a 1-0 game, feeling a little bit out of hand, but still very much in the game for the Gophers, to all of a sudden 6-0 deficit with the Ducks threatening to score more. Well, there's a base hit. It'll be at least 2 runners come in and double off the wall, but she gets thrown out. No, she dodges the tag. And so a throw from Valencia that she just got around it, and just again, the errors piling on for Minnesota.
I mean, that is pure athleticism by her, so great job. I mean, they had her dead out, and just not enough time. I mean, the umpire did get that right. They did not get her.
Well, a good play getting it in from Valencia, just couldn't quite get the tag down there. And so the inning continues to pile on. It's now 8-0 for the Ducks. Oregon will pull another pinch runner. It looks like we will have, I believe, Presley Lawton over there at second base. And so Luchar now back up to the plate. She's 2 for 2 on the day. Gophers still have 2 outs, but really need to get out of this. Kedra Luchar, again, having a good day so far. She'll swing on the first pitch she sees, up the middle. They'll hold the runner at the last second as Luchar advances to second with a single and then advancing. And so runners on second and third once again with 2 outs.
Yeah, I mean, these Oregon hitters are doing an absolutely phenomenal job, besides the 1 error that we had by Presley. But, I mean, they're hitting the ball up the middle. It's exactly where you want to do it. They're getting their bats on the ball.
Well, Gophers again will look to make some changes. Difficult outing so far. And so, you know, again, Gophers want to stay set up for the rest of the weekend series. And, you know, just a difficult start against, you know, you're going to have some difficulty against an order like this. And so Souza re-entering. And we'll throw in strike one. Certainly not the way I expected her to come back later in the series, as we were talking about that earlier.
We do, throughout the season, there's been a history of a little bit of a shorter leash. Souza is a younger pitcher, so it makes sense to have that shorter leash, as you don't know how she is going to do later in the games. But I personally think she was doing great. Oregon is a great offense. I think she was really holding her own. So I'm honestly glad to see her back out there. Hopefully it didn't affect her too much.
Awareness Foundation. And so, you know, again, we talked about it earlier, but great that they're finally getting this into softball, as we've seen it in other sports as well.
Yeah, and just another little plug, I guess. Cameron Chard's mom, sorry about that foul ball. We heard a lot of the girls saying they fight for Cameron Chard's mom, who was recently diagnosed with cancer. So it does hit home very closely to a lot of these Minnesota players.
Well, there's certainly no good time to bring that up within a broadcast. I think we've all seen the videos of Nick Castellano hitting homers whenever anything bad is being discussed. But, you know, back for the bottom of the fourth, and the Gophers, you know, they've gotten 3 runners on. It's been a hit and 2 walks, but they haven't been able to do anything with it so far. So Valencia looking to start things off here in the top of the fourth. The 1-2 to Valencia is swung on over to short, and the play quickly made over to first. And so one quick out, it'll bring up Kayla Chavez.
Grind has done such a great job. I mean, she has 3 speeds. That's so hard to hit as a pitcher. She's just been using her changeup, a little bit of an off speed that she has up there. So she's been keeping the Minnesota hitters off balance. She hasn't been striking them out, which is really her thing. So it seems like Minnesota did their prep work.
Well, it's certainly, you know, they've been getting long at bats and all that. Just, it's what you said. Haven't been able to string hits together. And so still that struggle continues into the bottom of the fourth. As you look towards the end of conference play, there'll be a fly out to third. Just a difficult end of the schedule, playing such a highly ranked team, and then you've got just a handful more series. So you definitely want to pick up at least 1 here, but not an easy task against Oregon. Again, they came in on a 9-win streak prior to their last loss. So Snippas will come up. She's had her fair share of really great moments this year, but another player that hasn't quite seen the consistency that the Gophers are hoping to get out of her.
Yeah, just to touch on your point earlier about wanting to steal one here. 3-game series are hard, so it's hard to play the same team 3 times. You never know what's going to happen, so it's definitely possible to take one.
Well, it's been a difficult task for every team that Oregon has played this year. Their loss was actually against LMU after they swept Michigan and Illinois. Rutgers in the middle, though that was only a 2-game series. Washington, the last team that won a game out of the 3-game series, and that was back on the 16th of March. And so, you know, again, we've been saying it all day. Gophers definitely have their work cut out for them this series. No easy task. There is strike 1. 2-1 count to Snippas.
Talked about it a little bit earlier too. Since Oregon is new in the Big Ten, they do have kind of the one-up on everyone else. So that Washington series, I mean, they have played each other being in the formerly Pac-12. So definitely they've played each other quite often. A little bit of a history there.
Well, certainly one of many sports where the Big Ten has really been bolstered by those 4 new additions on the West Coast. As that one's grounded out foul to the right of the first baseline. So 2-2 count here. I mean, you look at 8 runs on 8 hits compared to just 1 hit for the Gophers and an error. You know, you gotta, at this point, just find ways to stay in the game, get creative. And there's ball 3.
Majority of Oregon's hits as well came within Presley Hosick's time on the mound. She had, I think it was 10 pitches. So they were really working out there on offense.
Well, again, it'll be interesting to see what the pitching strategy looks like from Coach Ritter as we move through the weekend. Erica will be on the call with me tomorrow, and then I'll be back with you on Sunday. And so we'll see how the team responds. They've had their fair share of difficult games like this. As that one is back over our heads and onto, I think that might have reached the track and field area behind us. And so we'll have another full count. On the other side, you can expect to see a lot more of Grind this series.
Great job by Snippus. Her last plate appearance, she struck out in 3 straight pitches. So definitely great for her to take some pitches, let the at-bat go a little bit longer than it probably should.
Well, Burnett, she's got the only Gopher hit of the game. It was a ground ball up the middle. And so hoping to recreate that now with a runner on first. It's going to be Burnett. And then if she can get on, Werner, Easton, and Cosgriff. 6, 7, 8, 9. Oregon 9 for 22. The Gophers 1 for 10 at the plate. Well, Burnett will just wait that one out for strike 1. Tied up in strikeouts. Again, you'd expect to see a little bit more of that out of Grind, but the Gophers have done a good job getting past that.
A little bit of, as weird as it is to say, giving up 1 hit here and no runs. Grind is having a little bit of more of an off game. We've touched on not as many strikeouts and more walks than usual as well, which she is still commanding the plate, so nothing bad on her part.
Yeah, it's the ability for it to be a uncharacteristic game when you've still got a 1-hit shutout it just shows how great of a pitcher she's been this season. Well, a drive to left center from Breezy Burnett. Caught out there a couple steps in front of ball to short, and they made the play over to first. Maake will start things off for the Ducks. They're in the top of the 5th. And she'll swing on that one. Got a lot on it, but well foul. It's a closer play actually than it looked like at first for, out there in left field, but Cosgriff couldn't quite make it over the fence.
Yeah, with the sun up here, the way she was acting, I thought it was going to be in her glove, honestly.
Well, she got out in front of it enough that I thought I was going to keep hooking, and so grounder over to second. Easton can't quite make the play. And so another early base runner here to start off the 5th. Of course, starting to get into danger of the run rule for the Gophers. They'll need to get on the board, but first they got to stop the Ducks. Well, a meeting with the umpires here. We'll see if the Ducks are going back to the bench for a pinch runner. And so it's actually instead going to be a pinch hitter. It'll be Emma Cox stepping in, the freshman catcher. And so she will be replacing Rosa. She'll hit one down the line. The play is not quite made by Chavez, skipped right under her glove. And first and second.
Didn't even have enough time to talk about Emma Cox here with her absolutely amazing batting average as well. I mean, we just keep saying it, we're like a broken record, but Oregon is absolutely stacked with these hitters. She comes in today with a 354 batting average. So
to have bench players that are that prolific at the plate, just you really can't say enough positive things about this Oregon lineup. Probably the biggest test that the Gophers have faced all season. And so we'll see the mound visit as this game gets more and more out of hand. Likely to see more substitutions on the Oregon side of things. Another pinch hitter here. It's Ayana Shaw, the outfielder, sophomore out of Lemon Grove, California. She'll think about laying one down, but take ball one instead.
No, we just keep talking about how great these Oregon players are, but I think that really is all attributed back to Melissa Lombardi. She took over the program after Mike White left, the old Oregon coach, and they had a few down years, but their down years are still great years. So she's really built this program and seen a lot of success in her 7 seasons here.
Well, certainly a program that shows no signs of slowing down in the near future. She will lay that one down and just perfectly placed. Will reach all the way to short, and bases loaded, still no outs here in the top of the 5th.
Yeah, so that, we're gonna see it here. That's a miscommunication error. We see Sousa tries going for it. Chavez was right out of the shot there. She did a little bit of a wanting to go for it and doesn't. So one of them, preferably Chavez, don't mean this in a bad way. I am a pitcher myself, but third basemen do tend to have stronger arms than us pitchers. So really just need to talk there.
Well, we've certainly, from the Gophers this year, we've seen some good pitching defensive plays, and then we've seen a fair number of errors. And so certainly something that has been, both good and bad for the Gophers this season. Jones here, bottom of the order, bases loaded. She'll swing one foul right off the bat. And so Sousa again will work with the bases loaded. She's been in a lot of difficult positions today. She's gotten out of her fair share of them, but just that last inning is really where Oregon stuck in the dagger.
I do have to give Natalie Sousa a shout out. I mean, she is a freshman. She has taken on a lot more innings as of recently, and I think she's stepping into her role nicely. She is still trying to figure that out, but with the defense and hitting, it is a little bit harder. So I do think she is, as we can see, we don't see too much emotion out of her. So I think she will have a very bright career here at Minnesota.
Well, certainly still 3 years ahead of her, as she'll get that line drive down the line. It'll hook foul. And so it's a 2-2 count. Looks like that had a chance to probably just score one, but with how fast this Oregon team is, they might have somehow gotten a second around. And so another 2-2 count, bases loaded. Swung on over to short. The play made at second, no time at first. She went for the tag, couldn't quite get it, but they will get the runner over at second. And the Gopher fans not happy with not getting that call on the tag.
Yeah, I'm sure we might see a replay here. Yep. Tobias goes. It's hard. I'm not too sure about the obstruction rule. I'm sure everyone knows obstruction is pretty much up to umpires, but the runner went behind her, so kind of takes away any obstruction there.
Well, one run also will come in on that play. And so first and third, and again, that's a play that Tobias so close to making and just Instead of that, it's just 1 out, runners on the corners. Still would, run would have counted either way. Would have just been 2 outs, runner on first. But now we will see looks like another pinch runner. So the top third of the order we saw earlier was 0-6 combined entering the last time through the order. Now they each got hits that time around, so they're 3 for 9. And coming up to the plate, I believe that's Remington Hewitt.
KJ to Oregon, number 15, Remington Hewitt.
Yeah, so Hewitt, the righty junior infielder, will be taking over that leadoff spot. She'll take ball 1. Runners on the corners, 1 out. The Oregon lead up to 9 here in the top of the 5th. Two-0 count. At this point, the Gophers will have to score 2 to keep the game going. Corners in, middle infield at standard depth. Grounder over to third. The play made count. And the bats have been pretty well distributed. So far, of the batters currently in the lineup, there's only 1 player that's hitless with an at-bat. The only player with multiple hits currently in the game is Lushar, who's got a 3 for 3 day. So the 2-1 to Sinicki. Driven to center. Well, that won't be enough to score all the way from first, but we'll bring 1 run in and have first and second. Well played out there in center by Burnett, getting it in quickly. And the lead extended to 11-0.
I mean, sound like a broken record, but when you leave the ball over the plate against great hitters, that's what they're going to do to you. So great job by Burnett getting that ball in, limiting Oregon's base runners from getting farther. But
well, the Oregon fans are definitely starting to come out strong, as that one is hard hit, but just barely foul. Certainly we've got a less so for the first base line, but a great angle down the third base line of fair foul, so good call there. But Oregon fans getting louder as the game goes on, as it becomes a more comfortable lead. Certainly gaining confidence as they go through the series. Not that the team is in any respect lacking confidence this season. So it's a 1-1 count to McCoy. McCoy 1 for 3 on the day. She'll drive one again up the middle. 1 run will score. The throw over to third. And again, the speed on the base path. The outfield's done a good job today of getting it in, but just outstanding speed from the Ducks.
yeah, honestly, a little bit surprised that they didn't send their runner to second. That worked out for Minnesota, but I'm surprised they didn't take advantage of Minnesota's error there.
Well, you figure maybe they'll get another error at second if she goes on this first pitch, but once again, corners for the Ducks, up to a 12-run lead, 12 runs on 13 hits, still no errors in the field. Gophers just have the 1 error in the stat book, but several technically go down as errors. And it's the cleanup batter, Lushar. She's 3 for 3 on the day.
Yeah, and the only thing that goes down as an error will be those physical errors. So, said it earlier, there's been plenty of mental errors that just don't get counted. So.
Well, swung on high to center field. Burnett is there. She'll make the catch and throw it in. The one run will score from third. Runner on first will stay put, so up to 13 runs. And this one, hard to imagine the Gophers will get back into it, but at this point just got to get out of it and roll into the rest of the weekend with as much confidence as they can. To start off the bottom of the 5th, here to Maggie Werner. Stacey Chambers pitching in now for the Ducks. She'll get just a swinging bunt that finds its way foul, and so it'll be an 0-2 count.
Stacey Chambers is not a pitcher that has gotten too many innings this year. She has 14.2, so she is on the lower side. I'm assuming she comes into more situations like this where the game, Oregon has complete control of the game here.
Well, she's got a 2-0-0 record, 5.25 ERA, as Werner will swing that one over. The play just barely in time. Really good job by Jones getting over to it.
That was a great job. Maggie Warner looks like she did not want to swing at that one. A little bit of a check swing and still got her out at first. What a great play.
Well, to finish talking about Chambers, she's got 28 strikeouts, 10 walks on the year. And those 16 innings came through 6 appearances and 2 starts. Tinley Easton up in the 8th spot, driven out to center. That'll, oh, what a catch out there in center by Luchar.
What an absolutely amazing play over the shoulder. That is what you want to see in an outfielder here. Just a moment of silence for that.
Well, the Gophers needed anything to get their momentum and finally get a really good barrel. And just an outstanding play out there in center field.
I guess ducks do really fly.
Well, a huge smile on her face after that play, and now 2 outs, so just 1 out away from activating that run rule. Ball completely missing her spot as Cosgriff is up. And so, maybe that's the kind of thing that you can take into tomorrow, saying, hey, at least I barreled one up, but what an outstanding play. 2-0 count. The Gophers hitting 1 of 11. That's 91, batting average of .091 to 467 for the Ducks. Swung on and missed. We'll make it a 2-1 count. And a good take there will make it 3-1. 13 runs would be the Gophers' biggest loss of the season. They've lost by 11 before. That was the opening weekend against Northwestern, the home opener. As a drive will just barely fall out and right. That was very close to being 2 consecutive incredible plays in center field.
Almost like Harrison Bader on the Twins, those 2 back-to-back diving plays.
Well, just a couple inches away, and you gotta imagine she's got a smile out there again in center after that play. So it's Cosgriff on first, Tobias up to the plate. Again, this would be the biggest Gopher loss of the season if the Ducks can get this final out here. Ball 1 is high. And we talk about stringing together hits. The Gophers, not that they've had that many chances, but 0 of 3 with runners on today. They did draw 1 walk with a runner on. That was Valencia after Kraft got on board. And 0 for 4 with 2 outs. The 1-1. It was bunted. She lost the bat. Foul off anyway, and so it'll be a 1-2 count. Gophers down to their last strike.
I must say something interesting, a little pitching technique here is, we see it with Chambers as well as Sousa. They start with their foot on the back of the mound and then they step forward. They do have to keep their heel above the mound, so that is one way that they're able to do it. They just start behind the mound. The pitching plate, sorry if anyone gets mad at me calling it a mound. But yeah, it's definitely something that we're starting to see a little bit more. So definitely interesting.
Well, with 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th, she'll take a second. And so Tobias 0 for 2 on the day. She'll swing that one foul. And we've said it before, the Gophers have gotten bats on the ball, just either some great plays by the defense or just a little bit foul. And so it'll be another 2-2 to Tobias.
Little fun fact about Oregon, if they get this win, I mean it is 13-0, so if they pull this one out, that they will be 1-0 in their white on pink, which is something they keep track of. They keep track of their wins and their uniform combos.
Well, I always love looking through the situational records, and not every team keeps the uniform combo records on there, but it's always fun when they do.
Yeah, it says they could potentially wear 26 different uniform combinations, so they definitely got it going on in the fashion department.
Điểm nào đấy?
Well, another 2-2 count.
Em tưởng 8 giờ là hết rồi. Ấn xem gần hết chưa? Em nghĩ 8 giờ là hết mà.
Well, we'll try another ball.
Yeah, a lot of pitchers don't like new balls, but when it's the only option you have, you gotta take it, so.
Well, the Gopher crowd getting a little frustrated with that, which, you know, at that point, not so much frustrated at the pitcher so much as at the score with the score at this point.
Here's some boos from the crowd.
Well, set to get underway, back underway, I should say. So a 2-2 count after a couple of foul balls over the Oregon dugout. Low and in will make it a full count.
I guess the switching of the balls would be equivalent to a pitcher in baseball throwing back to first base.
Well, certainly got a bit of a delay there, and we'll see who that actually goes to benefit after that last pitch. And strike 3 looking. Well, there you go, a 13-0 end.